Hey students, what are your best study tips? For me, it's not putting everything on the last possible moment. A week before my finals is when I learn the least amount. I usually just review stuff. But for it to work, you gotta enjoy what you study. The teacher will most likely drop subtle hints on what the test is going to be about during teaching, like make sure you remember this or this is what most students miss. Remember those, it will come in handy. Play the game of school as best as you can. Focus on what's gonna give you the most points for your time and effort. If your class is exam heavy, then spend all of your time studying for exams. This is a method I learned from some random Asian guy on the internet, and it worked for me. Learn for around 40 to 50 minutes. Then take a break and just lay around for 10 minutes. Just close your eyes and let your mind stroll around. After 10 minutes you learn again for 50 minutes and so on. The most important is that you should not be distracted while and after learning, e.g. using your phone will hamper your learn effect. Not an A student, but I know should start studying as soon as possible instead of waiting for the material to pile up. Always go through your notes or schoolwork the same day you get them. The sooner, the better. Your brain will remember it better as it can retain the information better. This also helps you be more efficient. My teacher had a great quote that went something like, when you're trying to pour beans into a small jar, do it slow and steady so you won't spill, referring to last-minute cramming. Past papers forever. Get as many copies of old exams as you can, and where you see topics repeated in the questions, look for similarities in the answer sheets. I flew through science GCSEs, as a humanities student, by learning canned answers. Especially if you're undergrad level or below, 60% plus of what you're doing is learning by heart what the examiners want to hear. Can speak for college or university. Go to class. It's been the single greatest determinant for me in improving my grades and getting into the programs I wanted. Readings are there to supplement the lectures, so if you find yourself not understanding lecture material, dive into the textbook. 1. Being able to explain the class material to someone who has never taken the course before. The simpler you explain it, the better. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Albert Einstein. 2. Know what kind of learner you are. If you are a visual learner like myself, I'd explore creating mind maps on a whiteboard so you can visually see how those concepts relate to the overall picture, the course itself. Keep in mind that this can take time to break things down. 3. I study at the library. This might not be for everyone. Some people study better alone. Personally, I prefer seeing other students work because it motivates me rather than having my desk next to my comfy bed. The biggest thing that I have not seen mentioned yet is to read your textbooks. I know a lot of people who pay a lot of money for their textbooks, and they never use them. Read the chapter before going to class. Take notes while reading, making sure to highlight the important parts. If you are already exposed to the material before class, what the professor is going over will highlight the important parts to remember. It will also give you the best opportunity to ask questions. Whatever you could not understand while reading the textbook, or if what your professor is saying contradicts your book. Read your textbooks and come prepared to class. Take everything that could distract you, especially your phone, away from you, and then just start reading. Don't know if this counts, but just a general realization to a lot of people think studying for a class they think they don't need to take is the biggest waste of time. But the true waste is spending time and money enrolled in the class without actually gaining anything except, perhaps, a lower GPA. I've found that there is something to gain from pretty much every class if you look hard enough. Even if you don't see it immediately, know that by putting in the work, you will come away with something that will almost certainly be useful in some way, shape or form sometime in your life. It's a good motivator. Fill your days with activities to make yourself busy, with each activity trying to further yourself. Place studying somewhere in between these various activities, such as going to the gym, reading, learning a language, instrument. No mindless activities. No substances, caffeine, alcohol, cigarette, drugs, pornography. Paradoxically, as you fill your time with these mindful activities, you'll find more time and renewed brain power to study, compared to if you were studying in large blocks at a time. For me, it's not putting everything on the last possible moment. Week before my finals is when I learn the least amount. I usually just review stuff. But for it to work, you gotta enjoy what you study. Study with other people. The social pressure helps you retain knowledge. Also Google tests from classes that are similar to yours and use those to test your knowledge. Always take notes by hand in class and study from handwritten notes. 1. Attend class and write notes. The teachers drop hints during the classes. 2. Active recall. After every session, quiz yourself on what you've learned. You'll be surprised how little you actually retain. 3. Spaced repetition. Make sure you study a topic more than once. 4. Mind maps. Use them. If you have to read a chapter for a test, the words in bold, italics, or a different form of writing are likely to be placed in the test. Here has been what's helped me the most. To breaks, standing up and stretching, getting some water. Sometimes I even do a little dance or something. It helps a lot to process what's being studied, then move on to the next block of studying. Doing studying or practice in the same place, in the same conditions each time. Having a reward, something enjoyable and calming to look forward to after studying, like a hot bath or a movie or a workout or whatever you like. Focus is more important than anything. It's really hard, but studying is a lot less effective if it's diluted by any distraction. I know some people like to go to coffee shops to study, but they are just too distracting for me. To study groups are great. Usually, the people that come to them come for a reason. They're determined to do their best, and I've found a lot of help in doing math, especially in a group, to make sure it's done right. But, of course, some groups are more distracting than helpful. Seek help when needed. Don't be afraid to ask professors for clarification during office hours. Form study groups with classmates, or utilize tutoring resources offered by your university. Prioritize sleep. A well-rested mind is essential for optimal learning and memory retention. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Take care of yourself. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle with good nutrition and regular exercise can significantly improve your focus, energy levels, and overall well-being. Make physical flashcards and carry them around and study them whenever you're waiting for something, e.g., bus or class to start. This is better than using your phone since you won't be distracted, and you get around 30 minutes to 1 hour more studying every day. Focus on whatever the teacher's focusing. As the top comment said, they'll always give you hints about what matters and what doesn't. Just keep your focus on that. Don't do work smarter not harder thingy, work both harder and smarter. Always make sure you're prepared at least a little, even if it's not perfect. When you're studying, you'll realize that you've never seen some of the stuff you basically won't remember. You want to realize those subjects before the exam day. You don't want to let yourself down on the spot. None of the subjects are hard, some of them just need you to work a little harder. Seriously, if other people are doing it, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. I mean, let's get real here. The system doesn't rely on how smart you are. It's mostly testing memory, and remembering something is actually easily done by anybody. If you want to know more, read Moonwalking with Einstein. It's a great book about memory. Always be motivated about at least something. You don't want to go to Harvard or high-level schools, or honestly having a high GPA doesn't matter for you. It's fine. You can motivate yourself to have a high GPA without getting anything in return, although you definitely will. Just think of school like a challenge and motivate yourself with the thrill of winning. You're competing with yourself, or just anything really. You don't want to make things pile up. Don't ever let things pile up. Just study the subjects the day you've learned them, or the day after that. But don't let them get out of hand. It's really hard to catch up. Make sure you're mentally capable of dealing with your own life and stress. Nobody wants to deal with school without having a mentally clear state. I recommend meditation to get over this. It's honestly amazing what 10 minutes of mindfulness can do for your life. Great cure for depression also. Just have fun, honestly. Everything is bearable if you make them into games. Just have fun studying. Approach them as if they're games. Hope you like this comment. This is what I've been doing for the past 11 years, and it's been working like a charm. Hope it works out for you too, man. Good day.